Alrighty. Today's date is August 22nd, 2015, and this is my journal entry for week 3. I just completed, I'd say it'd probably be about week 19 for me for clinicals, so this is my 5th month, and I think I'm going to do things a little bit differently since supposedly this is going to be my last month and hopefully my last journal. So I think I was going to do things differently by sort of bringing everything that I've learned together in one video. Instead of just talking about what happened this week or this month, I'll kind of reflect on a lot of the things that I've experienced and learned. Mainly some new things that I've come to terms with just in the last couple of weeks. First, I've been thinking a lot about my reasons for why I decided to become a surge tech, why I've struggled and gone through school, everything that I've done, everything that I've learned. Why did I do it? And I guess many of the experience I had in the military. I was a medic in the military. I got to treat patients. I spent 6 years doing that. And the reason I chose to be in surge tech is because I wanted to change. I decided to change after my time overseas. I got to experience some time in the OR and decided that I liked the setting and the atmosphere more than being out in the field on the front lines as a medic. I enjoyed it. It was a little bit calming and it was different than what I had already been doing. And now that I have going on 5 months of experience as a tech, I feel like I can really sort of reflect on the differences between the two. One of the first things that I noticed as a medic is you spend more time really reacting to different situations, different cases, patients, injuries. Of course, you try your best to be prepared, to plan ahead. What situation am I going to be walking into? What instruments, what supplies, what do we have on the truck? What do we have in the bag? Trying to call ahead, find out more information. But a lot of what you do is just reacting to whatever comes your way. Whatever room you walk into, whatever you see, right then and there, you just try to fix what you can and then move on. But as a surge tech, it's different. It's more critical thinking. And my teacher would probably agree, that's been a challenge for me, is the differences between just reacting and critically thinking. I'm too quick to react sometimes. And instead of taking the necessary time to critically think my things out. I've gotten better at it, but I'm still not perfect. I still need to work on those things. And I actually still am confident that I will be able to do the job. It wasn't always like that though, and I have had challenges even just this week with those kinds of feelings. And one thing I noticed as a difference is the types of stressors. The kind of stress that I found in the military, being a medic versus being a surge tech. I remember being stressed out a lot as a medic, just because, like I said, you never know what you're walking into. It's something different, and sometimes it's worse than you think. Sometimes it's better, or it's not as bad as you expected. But I remember always being stressed out, before a case, before a patient, or before walking in. I remember always being stressed out because you never know. And sometimes you aren't prepared. Sometimes you're not even confident that you'll be able to really do anything. I mean, I'm just a medic. All I can really do is try to stabilize them best I can and then get them to the next echelon of care. But the stress as a tech is a little bit different. It's a different type of stress. Not to say that techs aren't stressed out. In fact, Earlier this week, I was having some difficulties. We even talked about this in class. Some of the other techs that I saw, even the veteran ones, they just seemed burned out. They seemed stressed, burned out. Some of them even just seemed downright unhappy with their job, with their lives. And I was kind of losing a little bit of my confidence that that wouldn't eventually become me. And I was sort of questioning whether I could really handle the responsibilities of a surge tech, because people forget, but graduation is only the first step. It's just a checkpoint. After you graduate, that's when the real work starts. And I only know that because I've been in a similar situation when, obviously, anybody who's graduated high school, then if they go to college, then it's college, then it's life. Me, it was military. You know, I went to medic school, then I graduated, then the real work started. It's the same situation now. After I graduate, I will be required, I will be responsible. People will look at me and expect me to know what I'm actually doing. They'll, I'll have that, I will have to be that person who does the critical thinking, who makes those choices. And I think in these past few months, I've been somewhat shielded from that, because as a student, they don't expect you to know everything, of course, but they a lot of times shield you from the full brunt of what they have to deal with. I don't I haven't really had to deal with what some of the techs have had to deal with, because they actually work there. Even when I'm in a case, a lot of the things that I should have to do myself, sometimes the tech to help me out, my preceptor, will do it for me. Not that I mind that, but eventually it's just going to be me. I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to know what to do. And I'm worried that the job, the responsibility might change me. So earlier this week, I actually I talked to one of my counselors, and he gave me some really excellent advice, because I told him, I was like, man, I don't know if maybe I didn't make the right choice. Maybe this, maybe I'm not gonna like the stress. Maybe I'm gonna get burned out and become like some of these other techs and hate my job or hate my life, or maybe it'll change me and I won't be the kind of person I want to be. Because the truth is, I'm usually pretty happy. I'm pretty happy, chipper, kind. But some of these other people, when they've been in their job for a long time, it just changes them. I see it. They become bitter. I've seen it in the military too. And he said to me, he actually he actually said, first he said that I would be an excellent tech, because I care. And I must have been in a pretty bad place, because I actually came back with, well, what if I care too much? And then he said, well, you don't have to worry about that, because that just makes you a good person, and it's going to make you an even better tech. And then he went on to say, people get burned out all the time. That's going to happen regardless of what you do and where you go. Eventually, sometimes people need a change. And when it happens, don't fight it. Accept it, make the change, and do what you want to do and do what you need to do. Which was probably the best advice I had heard all week. Because that is so true. Sometimes people just need a change. I did it before when I changed and decided to become a surge tech. Maybe in the future, once again, I'll need a change. Whether I decide to stay as a tech or not, or maybe I'll just need to change, whatever's